We have a louder Ameen, please. Remember this, there are moments where whatever dua you make is accepted, especially when you collectively make dua. There might be some innocent people, or might be some people who hold a very high status and a very high rank in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I can see young children who are masoom, who are free from sin. And when these children, when these youngsters say Ameen, everyone's du'as can get accepted. So it's very important that when a dua is invoked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should say Ameen collectively, inshallah. With regards to the qada and kaffaara of the salah, of the fast, yesterday I mentioned the compensation for one fast is you have to fast for 60 days consecutively, continuously, and if you have a break in between, you're going to start all over again. That was for the males, for the men. For the women, however, if they have a break due to the menstrual cycle, they do not need to start again, they can continue from where they left off. And what if you broke your fast more than on one occasion? So you've maybe done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now does that mean that you have to fast 60 consecutive days for each fast, plus however many fasts you miss? So this is a big question mark that some may have. So for example, you've missed 3 fasts, you've broken 3 fasts. It necessitates qada and kaffaara. Do you have to, for all 3 fasts, fast 60 days each plus the 3? The answer is no. 1 fast, 60 days fasting, 5 fasts, 2 fasts, 10 fasts. The kaffaara, the compensation, the one that you do 60 days will suffice for all the fasts that necessitated kaffaara. So I hope that makes sense, inshallah. Moving on to the Quran, inshallah, Surah Yunus is a very, very beautiful surah of the Quran. It mentions about, or Surah Yusuf mentions about Yusuf alayhi salam. As a young child, he had 12 brothers who were jealous of him because his father Yaqub alayhi salam showed more affection to him, and they plotted against him, and they took their brother with them and threw him in a well, and came back and told their father Yaqub alayhi salam with a fake blood on his shirt, and said that he's been devoured by a wolf. Yaqub alayhi salam tried for the separation, but in the meantime, Yusuf alayhi salam from the well was picked up by someone who tried to draw water from the well, and he was taken as a slave and sold in the market. He went on to be serving in someone's house, and the wife of this minister, she had a crush on Yusuf alayhi salam, and she locked the doors, and she tried to make or entice him towards her to commit haram, to commit zina. But the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had the better of Yusuf alayhi salam being a prophet. He fled, and instead the blame was put on Yusuf alayhi salam that he tried to entice this woman, Zulayha. And a child, it's a miracle, a child spoke from the cradle and said that look at the shirt of Yusuf. If it is ripped from the front, that means Zulayha is speaking the truth. He tried to entice her. But if the shirt is ripped from the back, that means Yusuf is speaking the truth. So when they checked, the shirt was ripped from the back. To save embarrassment, Yusuf alayhi salam was put in prison. He spent many years in prison, and he patiently endured. When he was released from prison, Allah gave him you could say, the kingdom of Egypt. And many years later, these same brothers who came to him for a knee. Yusuf alayhi salam recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. And instead of, for all these years of separation from his father, the suffering, being sold in the market as a slave, being put in prison, being blamed for something he didn't do, after all these years, instead of taking revenge on them, he forgave his brothers. So among the many lessons that we learned from the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam is forgiveness for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something that we as an ummah, we need to do. Because right now, there may be many in this hall right now. You put in the month of Ramadan. You know, I'm going to tell you a beautiful thing. Remember this. I pray and I make dua to Allah that this stays in our heart and our mind. Yeah, there's a companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His name is Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala. He has narrated the most hadith. The most hadith narrations are by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala. Once he was in a majlis and they concluded the majlis, and Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala raised his hands, told the majlis to raise their hands and make dua. But he made a disclaimer. He said, if there is anyone in this majlis who has filth or malice or hatred or who has cut off family ties, get up from this majlis and leave. Why? Because I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the one who cuts family ties, his du'as are not accepted. His du'as are not accepted. So if you want your du'as to be accepted, maintain family ties, especially blood ties. And we as an ummah, we are like family, we are like brothers, we are like one body. So have unity. Right now we need unity more than ever. And make your du'as count. And if you've got any filth in your heart, your du'as are not accepted. With that said, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our ibadah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cleanse our hearts. And may we love and hate for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.